Right. Moving on. Pinball. Awesome version of Pinball on the CDI. There's loads of pinball games out there, absolutely loads. I've got loads anyway. I've got a few pinball games on the PC, which is up there somewhere. I've got so many games on Mega. It's called Mega Pinball. I've got on the PC. This one's just called Pinball. Awesome, yeah, it's actually really good. Basically, you've got 4 different tables, which are actually up there at the top. There's 4 there, and there's 2 actually pictured down there. One of them's a robot level, and one of them's a beach level, which is the orange one. There's actually a sexy lady actually lying on a deck, recliner, which is always good. And if you hit her with your ball, she sort of squeals, which is always good. So yeah, great game. So the 4 tables are Cyber, which is the robot one, Dogfight, which is loads of aeroplanes stuff you have to hit, Spring Break, which is the beach one, and then Meltdown, which is another one, which is based on a laboratory. So there's like potions and sort of loads of different switches and levers going on and stuff. So yeah, it's a nice mix of different pinball tables, and it's a lot of fun. My favourite one is the Spring Break one, not just because of the woman, but at the top you've got a load of letters at the top that are lying on the beach, and they are actually covered up. And when you first hit them, they form the word spring, and then if you hit them a second time, they then form the word break. And if you can keep your lives and not lose all your pinballs, and manage to spell out spring break, then the cafe on the left hand side of the table actually opens up, and if you get your pinball then in there without it falling down and you losing it, you get like loads of bonus points. And yeah, it's just whenever I play this, I always try and do that every time I go on that table. So yeah, it's good. Right, next one. Now this one I have got both, so I don't embarrass myself again. Rather than going I haven't got the other one, I have got both. This is Richard Scarry's Best Neighbourhood disc ever, and again it's based on the author, because I'm sure he did a book based on this as well, with his name on it. But again, it's basically you explore a village. Again, it's for kids, so explore a village. You've got all these really cool little cute characters that run around, animals and stuff, and you interact with them, and you go and see how they're getting on and stuff. And there's like different sort of videos and stuff that you can watch. And yeah, it's really fun. And again, for my niece, I'm sure she'll enjoy that going around. And it actually helps with reading skills, recognising patterns, learning to count, building memory skills, and developing vocabulary. So again, that's going to help her massively. So that's the first one I've got. So the Best Neighbourhood disc ever. And I've also got his other one, which again I can use with my niece, is Richard Scarry's Busiest Neighbourhood disc ever. So this one's blue. Again, same sort of thing. Different puzzles and games to play though. This one includes matching shapes, recognising patterns, identifying musical sounds and the types of weather, developing vocabulary, and building visual discrimination. Yeah, it sounds a bit dodgy, that discrimination. They must mean that in a good way though. Right. Now this game I grew up with from a young age. I absolutely love it. It's an amazing game. Stupid screensaver. It's an amazing game. And the music right at the end was really, really, really gorgeous. It's all on piano, so I'm obviously going to love it. And it's really emotional as well, because when you watch the story, this is because I remember it well, because when I was growing up, I won't spoil it. Not that you're going to go and watch it, but you know what I mean. I'm not going to spoil it anyway. It's about a seal that goes to a circus for an adventure, hence the name Sandy's Circus Adventure. And right at the end, it's really, really sad. No one dies or anything. You basically meet someone that he likes, and then they have to go their separate ways. It's a bit like, oh, and the music's gorgeous, and yeah, it's quite sad. But you have like you can either watch the story, and you can actually decide which way. So basically, the first mode is you can either watch the story as a film, and what you have to decide where the seal goes. So you might get to a certain bit, and it's like, do you go this way or this way? It's like a fully interactive film. If you don't want to do that, you can actually go into another mode where you can actually paint and colour in different pictures. Or if you don't fancy doing that, you can then play a game as a third option up here, where you can match 3 kind of sliders together to kind of make a person, or you know, get them all right and actually match it so they all fully create a person. But yeah, it's an awesome game. I grew up with it, so it kind of holds a lot of place
in here really. So yeah, I really liked it when I was growing up. So yeah, it had a nice story to it. Right, next one is Story Machine Star Dreams. Now this is a really cool game. It has really funky music, really cool animation and graphics, and you basically create your own stories with it. So you basically have loads of different characters you can select, loads of different landscapes and sort of backgrounds you can choose from, loads of funky music you can choose from, and you write your own text on there as well, and just basically create your own fully sliding story. Whichever music you want to use, using whichever character you want to use, and writing whatever you want to do. So you can select a character and say and pretend it's one of your mates, and then put above them something funny as if they're talking properly, and then you can make them interact and stuff. And me and my brother used to do random stories. So one of us would leave the room and go and do something else, while one of us kind of created a massive story. And then right at the end, what had happened is it would go to slide, like turn over in the page as in a book. It would then just slide to the next bit. And once the music's finished and you've read the text, it then slides to the next bit. And then once I'd finished, my brother would come back and then watch it, and then laugh with it, and then vice versa, we'd do the other way around. So yeah, it's a really fun game to actually play, and we've had quite a few funny times on that. I'm just going to jump over to, I've got the other one as well in that series, Story Machine Magic Tales. But this, when I ordered it, came in a massive case. I don't know why, because I was expecting it to come like that, but it came like that. And I was just like, wow, that's massive. So it's basically the same sort of concept, but obviously you've got different characters this time, different music, different backgrounds. But again, it comes in this really cool, funky big case as well. It's the only game I've got that's got this case, so it's quite cool that I've got it actually, because it's the only one I've got. And it's actually in a really nice, almost like a stylish plastic binder, if you like, that you'd almost get in an office. For something on the CDI, actually looks quite sleek and quite stylish, I think. And then basically it just, you press it here, press it, and then it just flips up. And then you open it up, and you've got a book in there of like other games that are around. There's the manual there. And then here you've got the disc, and there's like a card thing up here. All it is, it's just like a, card. Ooh, don't want to ruin it. Ah! It's like a card asking, where you purchase the game from and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And then in here, this is quite nice to have. So many years down the line, it's just like a little brochure of different games that you could get for the CDI at the time, and also the kind of prices that they went for at the time as well. So you got Escape from Cyber City there as well, above my finger, so that first square, and that was actually $39.98 when it was released. So I'm not too sure what that is in pounds, but there you go. But anyway, it's just full of different games you could get at the time, and you got Sesame Street down there as well and stuff like that. So it's really nice to still have this in such nice condition as well, so many years in the future, from when it was actually released. That's the two Story Machine games: Story Machine Star Dreams and Story Machine Magic Tales. Next one is a game called Tell Me Why 2. Now I know for a fact, and I'm not going to embarrass myself here, I have not got Tell Me Why 1. I know that for a fact. But this is Tell Me Why 2. It's basically an interactive encyclopedia, a little bit like the Compton's encyclopedias, but it's a little bit more fun, and it's a little bit better as well, because you can actually interact with it and things move, and it's more visual as opposed to the encyclopedia. It's more about sort of serious text and sort of proper, like professionally done serious videos, whereas this is a bit more fun and sort of for the younger age, and you have a bit more fun with it. So it talks about like the human body and dinosaurs and stuff like that, and yeah, it's really informative. It's really good. I really enjoyed using that when I was younger. So, right, next one is a game called Textiles, which is actually a really fun game as well. Idea is you have to make words basically, and depending on how many letters there are, the longer the words, the more points you get. So you've got your own board there, and you basically have all these letters, and you've just got to create as many words as you can. It's not like Scrabble where they've got a link as such. It's just they can be separate, and then you basically get more points depending on how long the words are. I used to cheat though and just keep pressing and pressing and pressing, just letting the letters just kind of slide and go all the way down, and you'd eventually find that you'd get a load of random letters that would just randomly appear together in a row, and then that would form a word, and then that would kind of disappear, and then you keep going and going until you made another word. It's a little bit of a cheat really, but yeah, basically you just got to make words and you get points depending on how long they are. So that's Textiles. Okay, 2 more and then we're only at the end of the big ones. See what I mean? I've got tons and tons. Right, next one, Voya. Voya is quite a seductive game, so it's for 18 and overs, so all you young people out there, stay away from Voya until you're 18. It's even got a password on the game, so you can't get into it. So none of you out there that are under 18 can use it, because the password is unknown. Unless you look in the leaflet. Didn't hear that from me, right, anyway, as I was saying, quite a seductive game. Basically, there's a guy called Reed Hawke, who is basically a character who has a lot of wealth, a lot of power, and loads of people adore him, but he's got secrets. And one weekend, he gathers his family to discuss his running for the presidency of the United States. And it just says lust, revenge, and betrayal are at play in this adult political thriller. So what you do is you spy. You're basically a spy, and you basically spy on him and what the people do in this kind of manor, if you like. It's like a massive establishment with loads of different rooms and stuff, and you basically go into the different ones and spy on what's going on. You can either watch a video or you can just listen with like the shutters down. You can sort of listen in and stuff. If it has like a picture of a camera, I think it is, you can watch a video. If it's just got a picture of an eye, I think you can just, or an ear, I think it is, you can just sort of listen. And then you just got to make sure you don't get caught, basically. So it's like, do you risk getting involved or do you kind of stay away? You've got to be really careful what you're doing. If you get caught, then a woman comes in and basically shoots you. If you don't get caught and you do really well and you gather enough evidence to basically capture him, the police come in and then you've basically done your job properly. But you should be very careful, and there's a lot of sexy scenes in there as well, hence why it's 18. So yeah, that's why really. But it's a good game, despite the obvious. It just requires you to be very tactful in terms of how much you spy, to make sure they don't see you and stuff. So yeah, there you go. Last one of the big games, in the bigger cases. Now, this is the other half of the one I was talking about when I was showing you Link. This is Zelda, The Wand of Gamelon. Again, another crappy version of the Zelda games. Graphics is just awful. Gameplay is just shoddy, really difficult to control. A lot of the enemies are just ridiculously hard. Like, there's no need for them to be as hard as... I mean, there's hard. You want a tricky game to challenge you, but this is just like near on impossible. And you get to a stage where you're just like, really? And like, especially when ledges are moving around, if you're not on them completely, you just fall off. And things like that, just really, you'll find if you are silly enough to play this, I mean that in a nice way, but silly enough to play this game, you will get frustrated very, very quickly and to a great extent. So don't say I didn't warn you if you do try it, but it's just not. If you want a Zelda game, you've got Ocarina of Time, you've got Majora's Mask on the N64, they're amazing games, classics. You've got, Zelda games on the NES, you've got A Link to the Past on the SNES, you've got Twilight Princess on the GameCube, and that was on the Wii as well, I think. It's just, there's no reason for you to pick such a rubbish Zelda game. If you want a good insight into the Zelda franchise, N64, NES, GameCube, Wii, stay away from the CDI shoddy versions. Oh, and breathe.